Car Cost Canada provides the dealer cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. The link is in the description below. Welcome to the Tyrol region of northern Italy. To the north of me here is Austria, and we're here to drive the heavily updated 2020 Audi A4. Now, I learned something today when we picked these cars up. 1 in 5 Audi sold worldwide is part of the A4 family. In North America, we get the A4 sedan. We're also hopefully going to get the S4 in the next couple of years, and the Allroad, more sort of SUV style station wagon. Now, Audi has done what you would call a classic facelift to this car. They didn't change too much because it is already quite a successful vehicle, and it's also being refreshed in light of the fact that BMW has a brand new 3 Series that's just hitting dealerships now. Now, speaking of facelift, they made the grille wider and lower, that single frame grille. You also notice new headlamp designs, and the shape of the front of the car looks wider and a little bit lower. Across the back, you now see the tail lamps left and right connected across like you've seen in other higher-end Audi products, and the lower valance where the exhaust tips are is being made bigger as well. While we were having dinner, I asked the head product manager for the entire A4 lineup why they didn't change the car more, and he looked at me kind of shocked. He said, "You don't think this was a big update?" He pointed out that a typical mid-cycle refresh only gets the front and rear design changed. What Audi did to the side of the car is a first for a mid-cycle refresh. They changed all of the side panels, lowered the belt line, and included creases over the front and rear fenders. Now, maybe it's not obvious, but once he pointed it out, I did give him credit that the entire car, front, back, and side, has now been changed. What they told us here today is that they wanted to have this, what is conceived as an entry-level Audi product, kind of move more upscale. We do know that sedan sales have softened across North America, but one entry point for a lot of people into the luxury car experience is with a compact sporty sedan. So even though sedan sales have softened across the marketplace, for many people, getting into a premium car is in this size and this class. So for many potential buyers, this will be their very first touch point for owning an Audi. So let's get in, drive through this beautiful countryside, and I'll tell you more about the latest A4. You know what's interesting about this Audi A4? I have been to so many different press launches for other brands outside of Audi. Maybe it's Hyundai or Kia or Toyota or something else like that. And often I'll ask the engineers, what was the car that you benchmarked your new product against? And it's not the BMW 3 Series. For many brands, they benchmark Audi, and specifically the A4, as the car they want to try and emulate because it's a car that does so many things really, really well. Now, one of the things that the A4 has always stood for ever since it was introduced in the 90s, it became the cornerstone of the Audi brand and helped resurrect it all those years ago, is that it has been a very good all-round vehicle, and it really doesn't disappoint on any level. It's got a very comfortable, smooth, quiet, compliant, and sophisticated ride, but still it's got a bit of a sporting edge. So let's go through that for a little bit. This is a quiet, smooth, and comfortable car when you just want to drive to work and do your daily commute and be insulated from the outside world and enjoy the inside of your Audi A4. So what do you get now for 2020? Well, you get an updated head unit. Gone is the MMI system with the switches in the center, and now it's a touch screen. Probably the biggest reason, it's a 10-inch screen by the way, is that you can now integrate Android Auto and Apple CarPlay easier with the touch points. So a lot of people are using their phone mirrored onto this tablet style screen, and being able to access that screen easily is very important. So they've gone away from the controller to a touchscreen. So that's definitely an upgrade. But the rest of the cabin is really held over, and it's a good place too. It's got nice materials, it's beautifully finished, it's a comfortable car that's just the right size for many families. So good for Audi for having a car that has stood the test of time. One thing buyers might want to opt for is the 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster. That is carried over as well. So this is a car that has to be a comfortable place to be. And then at the same time, it has to also deliver the fun factor when the driver wants. There's a drive select system down here. You can dial up the different kinds of modes for the car. And when you get it in its most dynamic setting, it might not be the winner in this class for out and out dynamics. So we say the G70 from Hyundai, or Genesis I should say, is a really good handling car. But this is a car that feels very light on its feet. It doesn't feel like a pokey sort of old man car. When you want it to, it can be a lot of fun. And the thing I found about it is the better a driver you are, the more you can wring out of it. Now, coming to North America will be the standard Quattro all-wheel drive system. You used to be able to buy the A4 with a less powerful version of the 2-liter engine and even get it with a manual transmission. I've been told here today that's not being offered. So what we're getting is the 2-liter 4-cylinder with 248 horsepower and a 7-speed dual clutch, or the S-Tronic transmission, going to all 4 wheels. So that's kind of the existing setup we have now, minus the option to go with the less powerful engine, probably because not that many people opted for it. There's a guy right up my ass in something. I could blow his door. I'm trying, he's in a Kuga, I think is what it's called. He's trying to get me to go fast, and I'm trying to talk. Dude, if I wanted to, I could leave you in the dust. Anyway, back to the point at hand. There he goes. Welcome to Europe and the European drivers. Anyway, what was I saying? The engine is a carryover, and that's not a bad thing because it's kind of on par with what everybody else is doing in the industry. So the S4, no announcement on that here today, but you can bet that's going to be coming in the next year or so. So this is the kind of car that somebody aspires when they get into a German luxury product to own. For a lot of people, the compact luxury segment is their first foray into luxury. So this car has to be able to show potential Audi buyers what they could potentially get into the farther up the ladder they go. The more money they have, the more they're capable of spending. And it doesn't feel like a cut-rate Audi. It feels like the rest of the family. A really nice, comfortable car with really good handling, a good balance of power, and it's nice to be back in this car after a while. I'm going to tell you, with the roads we're driving here in Italy, it really is a good showcase for both the engine and for the chassis. So yeah, don't mess with success, I guess, is Audi's formula, and they sell a lot of these worldwide, whether it's this sedan or the wagon or the Allroad. Which one would you pick? Every single Audi car moving forward will have a mild hybrid system, including the A4 and the Allroad. In North America, we get a 12-volt system. In Europe, it's a 48-volt system. It uses the alternator to actually provide assist to the engine under acceleration, using electricity from the 12-volt system to help propel the car. And I have to say, it is immensely smooth off the line. Plus, the start and stop feature is now almost seamless. Now, it could be argued they didn't go far enough with changes to this car. The styling on the outside is a warmed over version of what we've already had. The inside certainly is a warmed over version of what we've already had. So would that stop you from buying this car just because it's not all new? Now, the reason they've done this, we all know, is because BMW has their new 3 Series. That also is a car that is benchmarked by much of the industry. So that's why they're doing this now, is because they have some competition in the marketplace. So once again, is it going to be enough for you to say, yeah, this is a big step forward for me, or could they have done more? It could always do more. So we'll have to wait for a full total body and model refresh before we get that. You know what's interesting, here in Europe, they showed us all the different engine configurations you can get for this marketplace. I think there's 6 different engines you can choose, all kinds of different TDI engines, all different kinds of gasoline turbocharged engine. It's a real shame that we really only get one engine for our marketplace. It would be nice to have some options and maybe some different price points as well to help people get into this car for the very first time. But probably, and this is the reason why they do it, they know that most people transact at a certain price point with a certain trim and a certain engine. So that's the one they kind of bring in as the default. It's interesting to have the S4 here for the European market, turbocharged, V6 TDI under the hood. Of course, we're not getting that for the North American market. It's too bad because it has 700 Newton meters of torque. I think that's over 500 pound-feet of torque. That would be a monster to drive. We're still waiting to hear exactly what we're going to get. Probably safe to assume it's going to be a supercharged V6. And we do have this sedan with the 2-liter, and we also have the Allroad. We don't have pricing yet for the Canadian marketplace, or the US for that matter, but when is this new A4 coming? The first quarter of next year in 2020. Car Cost Canada provides the dealer cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. The link is in the description below.